What is the big deal?
Yes. It has to do with government business, and then the government has already struggled in this 8th parliament because of that lean majority to undertake most of its business. Have to be doing a lot of lobbying behind the scenes to get to whip in line the minority in terms of getting its business done. And if the skills are turning and all of a sudden, in this very crucial moment before elections, where there are very key government businesses to be done by Parliament because they've been on break, just to resume, and then the NDC or the minority have become majority. It causes quite an interesting scenario in Parliament, where it makes the executive arm of government job quite cumbersome, because they've been struggling already, and now if they have to do even more of the bidding to get their business done, that has a lot of repercussions for the governance of this country in general. Yes.
Yesterday, I had cause to listen to one of the members of Parliament I so respect and listen to a lot, is Honorable Cletus Aboka. And I've also listened to other lawyers, Atachia and Co. It seems to me that we got here because we failed to call out Speaker Okwe for the ruling. Almost every lawyer, and in fact, that's not just me saying this, the MPP member of Parliament for Santiatim Central and the chair of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, Honorable Ayimedu, on the floor of Parliament said that Speaker Okwe was wrong. Honorable Atachia repeated it. Yesterday, I've seen Katie Hammond, a clip, also, and Katie Hammond is also a lawyer. So, what does that speak about democracy? That when people do wrong, we don't rectify it, we don't call it out. Then 4 years on, we are now saying that it was wrong. And it seems to me that based on what the speaker said on Tuesday, that when you do evil, it comes back to you. Clearly, he was minded by that President Okwe said. Don't you think the MPP shot themselves in the foot when it comes to that precedent, allowing it to hold all these years?
Yeah, fundamentally, while I was on my way here and I was listening to your discussions, you mentioned something that fits into my scheme of thoughts so far as this particular event is concerned. I noticed two things. The first one is how it affects government business, and the second one is how political parties lessons they can derive from some of these actions. It even goes beyond Michael Okwe's actions and then that of the current speaker's action. If you look at how the Speaker of Parliament election went from the beginning of things, the good lessons that we may derive as a people, I'm talking about the two political parties, major political parties, the NDC and the MPP may derive from some of these actions and actions, is that, politics is a game. We play to win. And there are different constituents of it. The internal politics and then the national ones, the in-party politics and then the national ones. Once you go into the space, you have to devise your tactics to win, but you must be mindful of the long-term repercussions of some of your actions and inactions. You understand? Yesterday, I also spoke to a couple of people in the night and from both sides, and they have cause to go back to the roots, at least from the beginning of things here, and they felt certain things could have been done differently. So you are right. The bottom line is that we can't stop playing the game. But our democracy is relatively young. The last time I said the only hope we have is that if we want to go through this tangent to grow, and we must take cognizance of the fact that we are still young. It may take us a number of decades to get to where we want to compare ourselves with. So these are all good lessons for us to learn.
But Doc, you see, when Barack Obama was here in 2009, one of the things he said, and has become very profound, is that when you look at the dynamics of Africa, we need strong institutions. So if a ruling of a speaker was not the proper interpretation of that thing, why didn't the judiciary take notice of it? Why did the institution of parliament allow it to pass?
Yeah. Honestly, I was trying not to get into the debate concerning how right or wrong the ruling is. I am just interested in the outcome, and fortunately, all the institutions, I'm talking about the judiciary, have been given the mandate to do the needful. If Parliament erred, I'm talking about this particular issue. So that one did not come up. This one is at stake at the moment. So you see, until the judiciary makes an interpretation, but let me make reference to the current speaker's pronouncement yesterday. He did not just base, in fact, he was very emphatic that he's not basing his judgment on precedents. I'm talking about direct precedents from Michael Okwesi. He was basing his judgment, forgive me if I'm getting it wrong, based on the spirit of the law. What did the law seek to achieve by outlining that if you defect, if you do this, what does it seek to achieve? You see, if you leave it to a futuristic interpretation, then it seeks to defeat the purpose of the law. You understand? So, but I am not interested in how right or wrong the judgment may be. That is why you spoke about institutions. And this is a clear case of a hypothetical case for the judiciary to give an interpretation. So Bagman had a right to do what he has done, whether he has erred or he got it right. And the judiciary has been given the mandate as the ultimate institution to interpret the 1992 Constitution, to do its work. So I think the institutions are working. At the moment, the institutions are working. But I'm talking about the repercussions. Yes.
When you listen to the Michael Kwe interview on Joy News with Elton Brobe, and also listen to the preamble that Bagman said, it agrees with you that they are more looking at the intent, because this provision, as you said, was inherited from the first parliament, from the second parliament, the third parliament, and brought to the fourth. The third parliament, the third, second republics, and brought to the fourth republic. In fact, Okwe said that it was a tool, the cross-carpeting was a tool the CPP was using to bring in members into its fold. And that when you also listen to Bagwen, he believes that when you come to parliament on the wings of a political party that sponsors you, and you defect to be an independent candidate or go on the wings of another party, it's a disrespect, or he sees it as hoodwinking your constituents to come to parliament and do your private matters. So when you even listen to him, the final bit of, let me play for you, he used some strong words there for the members of parliament. I think that it agrees to what you are saying. Let's just listen to what he said on that. So okay, so let's listen from here.
For the constituency. 3, Honorable Kojo Asante, Honorable Cynthia Mamile Morrison, MPP MP for Agona West constituency in the Central Region, now particularly Order 18, to inform the House of the occurrence of a vacancy of the seat of a member under Clause 1B to E, G, and H of Article 97 of the Constitution. Accordingly,
loyalty. So, just opposing what Okwe said, the two of them are looking at the spirit, as we said, why the framers put it there, to uphold the loyalty your citizens or your constituents gave you, to uphold the respect throughout. Do you think it will be something that, though, as the lawyers say, the two lawyers say they are wrong, so we can stand on their legal interpretation, Do you think maybe we need to also avert our mind to what the speakers are telling us?
Honestly, I wanted to, because I'm not so conversant with the legal issues regarding this judgment. I wanted to avoid the rights or the wrongs of it. I just wanted
to... I'm not talking about right or wrong. I'm talking about the lawyers say that the interpretation of the law is wrong. That's at least on this show. And I'm asking that Bagwin and Okwe are all elderly men. They've been in parliament for long. They are looking at the spirit. And I'm saying that though legally they may be wrong based on what the lawyers are telling us, do you think maybe we, the commentators, are not averting our mind to the spirit? That is loyalty of members of parliament to their constituents, the respect for them, and also maybe people not coming to parliament on the wings of a political party, they're seeking to do businesses.
Yes, honestly, initially when you even made a comment that this is a novelty, I think we've had incidents, but it's just that the scenarios were a little bit different because it was a political party writing to Parliament or somebody personally asking to defect to the other place. This one, it is a third person who reported the case and then it is being done. But all in all, I think that, yes, the law is the law. It is not for an individual to use his emotions, to use how you say elderly people, to use his emotions to make a judgment that contravenes the law. So I honestly I think we should be a little bit hesitant for now in commentaries associated with whether it is right or it is wrong, whether it is the spirit of the law, it's not the spirit of the law. I think the repercussions of this action is much more important to us as citizens.
Okay.
Now, because we cannot prevent the Supreme Court from interpreting this law to tell whether it was right or it wrong. Was wrong.
So Doc, you keep referring to the repercussions. Let's go to the repercussions. What is the political repercussions of this for the MPP? What is the political repercussions for the NDC? And we, the citizens, generally, what does this decision, does it have any repercussions for us?
Yes, let me start from S. And then I will, if I were to advise any of the political parties to, I'll say yesterday I heard the candidate for the NDC almost jubilating as if it's a victory. And on the other side too, for obvious reasons, because it will affect government business, it has the potential to also affect election outcomes. And these are very crucial moments getting into the December polls. But as citizens, I think we should be very interested in government business that have direct repercussions on us. If the MPP, after the declaration by the Speaker, says they will not go to Parliament, I think we as citizens should be concerned. We should ensure that we hold our people that we have elected into that space accountable for the things that they do that doesn't inure into our direct benefit. So we as citizens should be concerned about the MPP parliamentarians taking a decision that seems to have repercussions for elections. On the NDC side, honestly, yes, there may be very good reasons for jubilation, but what are they jubilating for? I think it's will you sabotage government business? Can the MPP use that to gain some political points? Because if you intentionally sabotage government business, it will look as if the MPP have been doing good, could have done good within these 2 months, and will just turn around and make it look like
the MDC is preventing them.
It was because the NDC prevented them. They could not make certain things happen. So I think these are very interesting times. These are times that I think the two political parties should look at the lessons, the mistakes that they have even made to bring themselves into this space in the first place, especially the MPP, from the scratch. Decisions by individual parliamentarians from the constituencies that make them defect or take decisions that do not benefit the larger group. And you know, those things play out in both parliamentary and presidential elections. When I was coming, you were discussing what the opponents of the two candidates did before their elections internally, and then what they are trying to do that doesn't seem to support their earlier stance on these two candidates. So I think it's a group thing. And while you are seeking to gain individual points, you should be cognizant of the fact that
there may be repercussions
in the future. So you play the game to win, but you have to be very cognizant of the fact that if you make certain decisions that have long-term repercussions, you may be.
Look, I have one more question for you. It's about whether